Hey, welcome back to this mini lecture. My name is Dino, and this one is on free speech, more specifically, alternative forms of speech. Um, I think traditionally we think about speech in terms of, oral, me speaking right here, or text on a screen. But there are other types of speech, alternative forms of speech. Um, the case of Tinker dealt with some kids protesting the Vietnam War with armbands being brought to school, as you see these smiling faces down below. What type of speech is an armband? One, two, three. It is a form of symbolic speech. You might go, symbolic speech. I don't really care. I'm really more into oral and textual speech. Why would it be so important today, especially in our technologically mediated world? There's a great deal of symbolic speech, especially online. I'll give you some popular examples of political symbolic speech, not trying to push any political ideology, just examples. Here are some ones. I'll go clockwise from up to upper left. The President Trump in the White House in front of some fast food. President hugging a flag. Nick Sandmann and Nathan Phillips. Nick Sandmann's the teenager on the left wearing the Make America Great Again hat. Lower right is State of the Union with a bunch of female lawmakers wearing white and a sign about Michael Cohen. Liar, liar, pants on fire. The designer Michael Barut talks about the idea of symbols as being empty vessels and we pour meaning into them. And then the big sort of takeaway from that is, why do people feel such strong emotions? The red Make America Great Again hat, it's a really powerful symbol for a lot of people, both for good and bad, depending on your political ideology. Some signs on the right, some political signs. I'll give you two major ways to look at signs. There's denotation and connotation. Denotation is the sign's most commonly accepted meaning, while connotation is secondary associations based on an individual's personal experience. So denotation, almost everyone would understand what it means. Connotation is kind of more subjective. And I'll give you an example in a couple seconds. We've shown some of them, but I'll talk about them more in a minute. Why are denotation and connotation important? Most signs have an accepted meaning. We know what something is, most people, when you see it. However, so then there's very few of them. However, a sign can have the connotation, many more associations that we come up with. I'll give you an example. The president on the left is in the White House. The denotation, that's all it is. It's a gentleman in a suit in a ornate room in front of a table with fast food. Most people would just sort of see that and go that. Because it's the president in the White House, the secondary associations are, if you support the president, it's a powerful man in the most powerful building in the world, exerting power at the same time. So that's more for the sort of high status connotation reading of it. If you're more low status, the associations you're making is it's fast food, so it's more of like a food for the people. So depending on which way you look, it's really quite a powerful symbol because it deals with both high status and low status all combined in one image, which is really, people might find it a little bit funny because it's this combination of high status and low status in the same frame. That's why people find it somehow a little bit amusing. The one on the right, this is probably a better example. The denotation, the most commonly accepted meaning. It is basically a red hat with some white text on it that says Make America Great Again. However, the connotations are much more powerful. For supporters of the president, it's maybe his policies. You might like tax cuts, strong immigration policies, etc. If you're against it, if you're against the president, the hat might represent maybe some utterances that the president may have said that you didn't like. Maybe you're against tax cuts. Maybe you're more for a more porous border. So again, and then the really, really positive, really negative associations that come with that. Bringing this more into the digital world, there's the idea of hyperreality and signs as being malleable. Here's some quotes from the philosopher Jean Baudrillard. This is well before the internet became really sort of prevalent in society. The era of simulation is inaugurated by a liquidation of all referentials. Worse, their artificial resurrection in the system of signs, a material more malleable than meaning. I know many of you, this is quite a complex piece of work. But basically, it's the idea that we're in a system of signs now, where signs, like ones on the right, are present every day. They're not really typical signs like a stop sign. They're more ambiguous, but they become much more malleable. They're changeable. Like if we go back to the red hat again, it's just a red hat. That can mean multiple things and really polarizing things depending on your political bent and what you believe in many ways. The second quote is no longer a question of imitation or duplication or even parody, substituting the signs of the real for the real. That is to say, of an operation of deterring every real process. We seem to be especially in social media and the internet, we often just look at signs. We don't really look at the reality underlying it. For example, let me go to the bottom right. For those of you who may know about this, remember the State of the Union address. The president would have spoke for an hour, 90 minutes. Very few people, even political pundits, unfortunately, watch the whole thing. But people remember the women wearing that their white outfits as a sort of a strong symbol. So they'll remember that. They might not remember the speech or even see the speech, but it's like this sign of the real is substituting for the real. Nick Sandman, the image in the middle on the right. Most people did not go to this rally. What you'll see the sign. It's a young teenager in a "Make America Great Again" hat, and there's a Native American confronting each other. Most people didn't go to the rally. Most people don't read the story. They'll just see the symbol and it means what it means. In the upper right, president. If you like the president, it's him being welcoming to the White House with some food. Other people might see it as he's combining again high status symbols, his power outfit, the room with the fast food. Again, different things for different people. And you remember the sign of this combination of high status and low status than what the actual event is. And many of you might not even remember what it is. It was a celebration of a national football championship. And this isn't just politics. This is much broader, especially in social media and the internet. We used to have the social, now we have social media. So the reality is social. The hyper-reality is social media, where we live more on Facebook, Instagram than we did before those things came into real life. Before we used to have real life. Now we have virtual life, like Second Life, an online venue where people can congregate. This is a bit of an odd example. Before we used to have just regular photographs of people's. Then it became selfies. Now we even have video game selfies, where on PlayStation you can take photos of yourself playing a game, or the characters playing a game, or the venues within the game. And then we've got to the idea, and this is very perilous in terms of society, the idea of the inversion, where bot traffic, artificially created traffic online, has outweighed the amount of human traffic. So when algorithms make decisions based on traffic online, the norm now is fake bot created traffic as opposed to human traffic. Some related ideas. Images are the new reality. The philosopher Slavoj Žižek said that in 2010, and again on social media we increasingly are living in sign and image spaces. And then the idea of cyberspace, quote, as a black hole. It absorbs energy and personality and then represents it as a spectacle. The energy that we put online, the posts we make, the personality we put online, it becomes a spectacle, like a show that we see. So again, it's less of a reality itself, and it's more of an image-oriented reality. A dose of hyperreality to finish this. A little while ago, a couple years back, the comedian Zelensky unseats incumbent in Ukraine's presidential election. Exit poll shows. So this comedian became the president. The hyperreality of it is, what did he do before as a comedian? He played a president on TV. So the president on TV becomes the president in real life. Like, again, molding fiction and reality. Reality and hyperreality and fiction. Thanks for watching. See you next time.